Go F yourself, man-hating feminist. See you next Tuesday. I get messages like this a lot, and I don't always post them because, frankly, it's exhaustive. But once in a while, I think it's important to just remind folks that whatever the intention is of a message like this, it's not landing. But I have deep empathy for the men who send messages like this, these sort of modern day love letters, if you want to call them that. Men who send messages like this are hurting. They don't know what's wrong. They don't know what feels missing, but they believe women are to blame, specifically independent women or women who identify as feminists. It makes sense that they believe that because they're not conditioned to self-reflect, but they are conditioned to establish a sense of power when they feel powerless, helpless, afraid, or self-loathing. By doing something to dominate, or to feel superior over a woman. Because for as long as patriarchy has existed, the idea that men controlling or dominating women has given men a lot of esteem. In fact, it is often what their entire sense of identity and masculinity is built on. If you extract power and gender, which are often overcoupled, especially for folks who have been conditioned to believe a lot of these indicators or patterns of behavior that shore up a sense of masculinity or precarious masculinity. So a lot of men will make snarky comments like this, or they'll do other things to exert some kind of aggression or hostility, really kind of evidencing their higher levels of hostile sexism. And they might in that moment get a tiny burst of feeling important, powerful, in control, but that feeling is fleeting. And so these kinds of behaviors often need to continue for them in their mind because they have to continue proving their masculinity or their sense of power over and over again, because this isn't actually a solution. At best, it's a fleeting band-aid to help distract them from the more vulnerable feelings that are actually going on inside their minds and their hearts. And women like me, the feminists, see you next Tuesdays. I'll wear that badge of honor. I will. I'll own that. That's fine. We're blamed because we call men in and sometimes call them out. And we expect them to do better and to be better because we know they're capable of that. The people who collude with this sort of precarious masculinity and all of the ideology that goes along with it, they don't have high expectations for men. It looks like they do because they want men to achieve and perform and be great and be dominant and all the things. But that is actually what creates a lot of the dis-ease that men feel. And what is behind this masculinity, or what is it, crisis of masculinity? The loneliness epidemic, that's what it is. The loneliness epidemic exists in men because men tell themselves and each other that the only way they can be good enough or worthy is by dominating or feeling better than a woman or another man. That's not the deeper internal work that is actually sustainable for change and for feeling good about oneself. So, if you're sending messages like this, it might be time to go to therapy. Because there is a different way to be and a different way to feel. And the men who have leaned into that and have really grown, first of all, don't need to send messages like this because they feel intact and integrated as they are. And they end up resolving those loneliness feelings because they're able to develop more intimate connections with themselves, with other men as friends, and with women if women are who they want to date or be sexual with. There is a different way to be. And it's yours if you're willing to lean into the work.